Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It really helps me out and you never want to miss a video of mine. So today I'm filming outside because it is literally gorgeous out here. It's literally like kind of hot out and it's in October. October, for us at least, is literally like every day is a different temperature, or every day is like so different. And today is literally like just the perfect weather. Like, it is absolutely the perfect weather because the sun is hot and then it's also a little humid out. So I just thought I should film outside since it also is very gorgeous out. Like, the trees look so pretty. That's one of my favorite things about living in the woods. There's so many my favorite things about living in the woods, but one of it is it's so gorgeous pretty much every season besides winter when it's not snowing out. Anyway, already into this video and I've already been ranting, but in today's video I'm going to be talking about what a hamster cage should look like, / what a hamster cage should include in the cage. Basically, that's what this video is going to be. I do have a little bit of a script. If you guys have been watching my care videos recently, I have been going off of papers, and the only reason for this is just because I want to make sure that I say everything that I need to, and I also want to make sure that I'm getting across every point, because obviously I know all this knowledge. I did write all of this knowledge down, but I want to make sure that I get everything into this video. So if I'm ever looking down, if it's a little choppy, the video is a little choppy, that's why, because I am reading off of a script, just so I know what I'm saying and make sure that I say everything. Because if I just sit down, talk about care, I get really mad when I'll get like really into it, and then I'll get mad at people that have small cages and it doesn't turn out so well, and it's not very educational to watch. It's not very sit down material and watching, but I'm super excited for this video, and I hope you enjoy the view as well. I think that that's one of my favorite things as well about filming outside, is because it's so gorgeous and my background is really pretty. I don't even have to do anything. I just have to set up my camera. Okay, enough ranting, let's get into the video. Alright, so there are so many things that you want to make sure that you have in your cage, but the one biggest thing is the size. Hamsters need at least 460 square inches of floor space. Now, this can be a fish tank, a bin cage, a wooden cage, and so much more. So a fish tank is an aquarium. You can make your own cage. There are wooden cages out there that a lot of hamster owners do make their own cages, and some people even make it out of like a shelf. I don't know how you would, a bookshelf, I guess you can say, but with the like lid and stuff. Really cool. Unfortunately, pet stores do not sell safe enough cages unless it is a fish tank. Most of the times though, at fish tanks, at pet stores, they don't have a big enough fish tanks, but hamsters need at least 460 square inches of space. So this can count as anything that is big enough. You could like make your own cage. Like, that's what I'm saying, is this does not have to be an expensive thing. You just have to make sure that it is big enough of 460 square inches. Now, it doesn't only have to be 460 square inches. Anything above that is perfectly fine. It's actually greater or better to have a bigger cage than obviously a smaller cage or 450 square inches. I recommend at least 600 square inches, but this is the minimum. Anything lower than 460 square inches is considered a bad cage. So such as tiny tails, critter trails, all those things, those are considered a bad cage because they are under the minimum, and there's so many more reasons also for that. I do actually have a video on why critter trails are so bad. Hi, I want to come in here and hop in and say I do recommend my video on why critter trails are so bad, but I have not watched that video in a while, so I do not know what I actually say in that video. I'm gonna say that it's okay. Like, I knew what I was talking about, but I don't know if I really went into details about everything why critter trails are bad. Unfortunately, you shouldn't have to know every single reason if a thing is bad. as long as you know that that is going to stress out your hamster, that should be an automatically no, because you should be caring about your animal a lot, that you shouldn't have to know all reasons. But I just wanted to say that before anyone goes watch that video and they realize that all this information is not the best, because I don't personally know what I said in that video, and I don't know if all that stuff is good enough to be out there, but I don't think a lot of people have watched it, so I'm glad about that. Okay, continue watching the video. But if you're looking at tiny tails or critter trails, those are considered a bad cage because they are under the minimum of 460 square inches. So before you get anything like a bin cage, a fish tank, anything like that, you want to make sure that it is 460 square inches or above. All right, moving on to chews and toys. Before I get into toys, let's talk about how important chews are for hamsters. Now, hamsters' teeth are constantly growing, so you wouldn't think, but chews are very, very important for hamsters since their teeth are constantly growing. Chews keep your hamster's teeth healthy because they gnaw them down, because hamsters' teeth grow really actually fast. Yes, hamsters do need a seed diet, which a lot of people just say, oh, that's enough for your hamster to do that. Yes and no. It is filing it down a little bit, but it's not as much as, you know, chews. So I'd recommend at least 4 to 5 chews in your cage. Chews come in very many different types of chews, such as wooden chews, whimsy chews, milk bones, apple sticks, which is wood, and then there's so many different shapes and sizes and stuff. There's also, I don't know what it's called, I know that Tiny Tail sells them, or PetSmart sells them. I don't know what they're officially called, and I actually don't know if they file down hamsters' chews, but there are so many different types of chews out there, and also when you get hides and stuff, some hamsters will actually chew on that. Now, I don't know if you guys want me to make a video about it, but I can make a video about how to get your hamster to chews if your hamster isn't chewing like wood chews and stuff. But whimsies and milk bones are really good for your hamster to chew on. I wouldn't recommend milk bones as a chew. I would recommend it as a treat, which does also gnaw down your hamster's teeth. But whimsy chews are a dog chew, I think you can say. I think they're actually chew for dogs. They like clean their teeth and stuff. And those are really, really good for hamsters' teeth. I wouldn't recommend, as soon as they finish it, putting in a new one, because they are very potent, because obviously a dog is way bigger than a hamster, so you want to like slow it down with those. You don't want to give them constant after they finish it. Wait at least 1 to 2 weeks before you give a new one after they finish it. Alright, so moving on to toys. There are so many types of toys out there for your hamsters. I would recommend at least 5 to 6 different toys. This can include hides, willow balls, hanging toys, if not tall, driftwood, and so much more. There's so many different types of like toys, because you can have at least, you know, 3, I recommend at least 3 hides, and then 2 to 4 toys, and this can include a lot of different things. When it does come to hanging toys, make sure that it's not super high up, because hamsters are not that good at climbing, but hammocks and stuff are fun for hamsters. I see a ladybug, that's why I'm looking down there. I see a ladybug and I'm waiting for it to land on me. But yeah, so don't, if you're going to get hanging toys, make it super tall in the cage. But there are so many different types of hides and toys out there for hamsters. Like I said, I recommend at least 5 to 6 different toys, but this can include so many different things, and obviously there's not a limit to toys. So it's not like you can only have 6 toys in your cage, or you can only have this many. Make it as cluttered as you want, because some hamsters really do like a very cluttered space and not an open space, but some hamsters do like an open space. And like I said on here, it's really fun to find what your hamster loves, because some hamsters are not going to like, and like I said on here, it's really fun to find what your hamster loves, because some hamsters are not going to like one of those toys. I know my hamster, sometimes I'll put a toy in their cage and he will not use it, and that's just the fun part of it. And I just, like, with my mice, I know what type of toy they like, and so I'll get it constantly after they chew it up. But it's so much fun to, like, find different things. There's cork logs out there, which is like a great way to start a burrow to your hamster's cage, if they haven't yet. And there's so many other toys out there, and it's so fun to find out what your hamster likes. Moving on to bedding. So like I said, this is definitely one of the top ones, because this is something that they're going to spend a lot of time doing, since they're going to be making burrows and so much more in the bedding. They're going to be making their hoard, they're going to maybe find where they're going to poop and pee. It is so special and so important to have bedding in there. What is the perfect bedding, and how much should I put in it? A perfect brand of bedding, but I personally use paper bedding, paper-based bedding, found basically anywhere, such as like Target. I know they have an okay brand of bedding. Walmart, I know a lot of people that do use Walmart bedding. I personally just don't love it, and then obviously you can find it at pet stores and things like that. The only thing you want to make sure of is that it's not scented anything, such as like lavender or anything like that. Do not get that bedding, and it's very, very bad for your hamster. You want to stay away from pine or cedar bedding, such as wood shavings, that's what they're called basically, unless it's aspen, because pine and cedar can cause a respiratory issue, which is an illness in the lungs that can really damage your hamster's system, and it could lead to passing away, unless it's aspen, which is a safe wood shaving. Question of how much you should put in your cage. You should at least have 7 to 8 inches of bedding. I personally recommend anywhere from 9 to 14, because in the wild, hamsters dig down at least 30 inches, so it's really hard to obviously find a cage that is 30 inches deep, but also a couple inches above, so they don't escape, or you have space to put different toys. So 14 is one of the most recommended ones when it comes to, like, when you're really deep into hamster care. You'll find a lot of people that have 14 to 9 inches of bedding, which I personally use and I personally recommend. And like I said, there is many reasons for this, since hamsters do dig down 30 inches in the ground when they're burrowing out in the wild. So when you think about it in your cage, you don't want to just get 1 to 2 inches. That is not enough. Yes, they can bury themselves in that, but that doesn't count as a burrow. Burrows are basically a really long tunnel out, digging themselves into the bedding and just sitting there. It is where it's a tunnel and it leads to different other places. A lot of different hamsters love to make burrows. If you are having troubles with that, just DM me on how to get your hamster to burrow. I could make a video about it. I don't know if I will, but I could make a video about it. So like I said, this is one of the most important parts of your hamster's cage, and you want to be making sure that it's anywhere from 7 to 14 inches. Nothing lower than 7 inches, because it's not enough bedding for your hamster to be burrowing. A lot of people also do measure their bedding to make sure that it is that thing. So if you're wondering how to get it, how to find out how much bedding you have, just use a tape measure to make sure. And also, some hamsters, you'll see that they're making burrows, but they go all the way down to the bottom, which means that you should probably add a couple more inches of bedding, just because if they're going all the way down to the bottom, it probably means something. So moving on to sand and dirt. Now, I'm not going to go into too many details for this one, since I do have a video on why sand is so important, which maybe I'll leave it up in, I don't know which side it is. I'm not sure. I know every YouTuber does that. I really don't know. I think it's on this side. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I do have a video on it, so maybe I will link it up there, or if it is not linked up over in the corner, it will be down in the description, or one of my latest videos. It's literally probably like the 3rd video down. So if you want to go into details, or if you want to know things about why sand is so important, go ahead and watch that video. But this is going to be a great place for your hamster's wheel, which I will be getting into the next one, and they might use it as their litter. And it's also a really good texture, a different texture for your hamster, because it's really good to have different toys and different textures that your hamster is stepping on, for many reasons. But moving on to the wheel. I definitely want to say this is probably one of the most important parts of your cages, of your cage. Now, me saying which one is the most important and stuff, I am not saying that you get to pick and choose. So, but yeah, with me saying which ones is the most important, you don't get to pick and choose. Oh, I'll have a wheel but no toys, or I'll have bedding but no sand. So you don't get to pick and choose by me saying which ones are the most important. Alright, so moving on to wheels. Wheels are very important since hamsters run up to 5 miles a night sometimes even more. So actually in the wild they run up to 5 miles, I think around 5 miles in their cage, so it is super important to have a wheel. For different hamsters there are different size wheels that are right for them, such as, I'm going to get into that, but hamsters need a right size wheel. Please make sure your hamster's back isn't curving. So if they're going like this, if their back is like that when they're on the wheel running, it is incorrect, and you should not have that cage. If it's like this or just a little bit like that, it is correct, and your hamster is not going to be breaking their spine and breaking their back. It is really uncomfortable. Since I said hamsters do run up to 5 miles a night, if they're going to be going like this the whole entire night, ow, that actually hurts me. If they're going to be going like that the whole entire night, that's going to really injure their back and really injure them. So there are different sizes for different types of hamsters. There are so many different types of hamsters out there that the sizes vary. So Syrians, you want to be doing 10 to 12. Wheels measure as in, you can measure them into centimeters, but I'm talking about inches in this video. So 10 to 12 inches for a Syrian. 12s are usually for female Syrians because they're usually bigger, and then males are usually smaller. A Syrian, when they're like a baby, can be on a 9, but as soon as they grow up into 6 months, I would switch to a 10 or anything bigger than 10. For dwarf hamsters, you would go to 7 to 10. Hamsters can go on a 6, but that is very rare. So even with that, I would honestly recommend a 9 to 10, because some dwarfs are pretty big. And then moving on to Chinese dwarfs. So these are 10 to 11. Now, I'm not exactly sure about this. I'm not sure if this is correct or not, because I've had a Chinese dwarf, but I just don't really remember it. It was when I was little. So, but they are a dwarf, but since they do have a really long tail, you want to be making sure that their tail is comfortable when they're running. So 10 to 11, if that's wrong, please correct me in the comments. And then robo hamsters. Now, robo hamsters are definitely one of the least favorite hamsters, I feel like. They are the most shyest because they were the last to be domesticated, and they're really small. So a lot of people usually go for a 6, a very small size wheel, which they can fit on, but usually when they have too small of a wheel, they will spin around and then fall off, which I do not find funny at all. I don't know how people find that funny. I don't think it is cute at all. So when you have too small of a wheel, they'll go way too fast and they'll fall off of it, which can be very bad for their obviously body, their head, and they can get a neurologic problem, which is basically like, I'm just going to give an example. This is not the only example that you can use. If they're like sniffing upwards and then they fall backwards, which can be it's not fun. So I would recommend a 7 to 8. My hamster is on a 8.5, I think, and he loves it. He is very well in that cage, or in that wheel. Okay, so I might have missed a lot of things in this video. This was just basically the basic of what your hamster's cage should look like. There's so many different ones you want to be putting in different beddings and stuff like that. I also did not talk about food and water. Obviously, your hamster should be having food and water in your cage, but I think that is a pretty obvious necessity in there, so I just wanted to put that in there just in case no one realized that hamsters do need food and water. And then about foraging. So foraging is a thing where you sprinkle some food around your cage, and then they have to work for their food. Obviously not super hard, all they have to do is run around. Alright, hello. I feel like I didn't really talk about enough of foraging. Foraging is not only you spreading around some seeds around your cage and they work for it. It is your hamster working for food. So you can like get a willow ball and put a treat or something in it, and that's foraging. It's where your hamster works for your food, scavengers for their food, and that's what they do in the wild. So since it's a really, really, really good thing for your hamster to have, since in the wild they go out and they search for food all night long and then they come back to their burrow and sleep at night. But for hamsters that are in cages, they go to their food bowl and then get their food. So it's a really well thing to do at night for your hamster to scavenger for their food, which is called foraging, and it's really good for their simulation if they are bored. Cage, which is can be really, really good for their to simulate their boredom. If they are bored, this is such a great way. So you can even just use your seed mix, or you can get herbs or herbs. I know other people call them different things, so you can sprinkle it around their cage and they will eat it, and it's really, really good for them. It's called foraging. It's really good for their simulation, and it cures boredness most of the time. Alright, so that is the video. I wanted to do this the whole entire time. That's the video. Don't worry, I gotta pick that up. Don't want to be littering, even though it's just paper. I was gonna crumble it, but then I realized that I probably shouldn't because I might have to refilm this video for some reason. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped one person out there. Hopefully the next video will be more fun and more not care video, I guess you can say. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye guys! Alright, I want to hop in here one more time before this video ends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped at least one person out there. I know it was really long, and I wanted to apologize for you guys for the long video. Usually I do not post this long of videos. This was like an hour of footage, so I tried to trim it down as much as I could, but I also wanted to include everything that I could, or everything that I needed to. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye guys!